Hello, my name's Callum.
And I'm Guy.
And we both live in Saltwood in Kent. Welcome to our podcast series, Saltwood Speaks. The COVID-19 pandemic that started back in March 2020 has affected us all in different ways, and, alas, it's still dominating the news media. Through this series of short, reflective conversations, we would like to share with you the varied COVID experiences of some of the residents of our ancient village.
This is our 27th year in this house, and for the last 10 years, since we retired, we've just been buzzing around the country, going to our daughters up in Manchester and Sunbury, and my mum's in Milton Keynes, and we did this. It was hectic. We did this most of the year. In fact, sometimes when we came back, it was a quick turnaround, and then we'd go to one of the others because we did childminding, school run, DIY, you name it. We did.
It was probably about 3 weeks out of 4 we were away.
Yeah, we were away. And then I had to try and squeeze visits into my mum because she was she was elderly, let's put it like that. About 10 years ago she was getting on for 90, so she became a bit more dependent and she wanted to see me more often, so I tried to get up there once a month. So that's what we used to do. And in fact the first 3 months before COVID, the January to the March, we were away. We did 4 trips. And
that's when we first heard about it, coming back from Manchester?
Coming back from, was it Manchester or Jenny's?
People were starting to wear masks on the train. And then we went to Jenny's in Sunbury, and there was somebody on the train who was coughing.
So we moved.
And everybody else on the train was moving forward.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a little background. But we decided that because of all the restrictions, we were only allowed to go shopping once a week. We couldn't leave the house for any exercise, so we just did the field out the back. And it was lovely at first, wasn't it? It was really nice. All this time to do nothing in the house, it was really good. There were a few problems because charity shops weren't open, so you couldn't declutter very well, couldn't go anywhere. So it wasn't long before the novelty had worn off. Really. We do remember when we were watching television, everyone was glued to the news bulletins that we had every night, and there was this sense that it's something that's happening over there, so it won't come here.
I can remember 2 doors down, the old lady there, she fell over, an ambulance turned up, and my first thought was, she's got COVID.
So it was a bit scary, a bit selfish on our parts, because we thought, we won't get it. We're all right here. And all these awful things were happening in China, and all the people that were on cruises came back, and you just felt that it's all happening everywhere else but not here. And how long did that go on for?
Probably about the first year, I think.
Yeah.
Really sort of petered out, didn't it?
Yeah.
Until we started having the first vaccines.
Yeah.
But I think the worst part, in fact, was not able to see our grandchildren, because we got so used to seeing them. All of a sudden we were seeing them, and literally the next day we weren't.
Everything stopped. Yeah, we couldn't.
So we didn't really
travel.
See them for over a year, wasn't it?
That's right, about 2 years.
Yeah.
So.
And then Fran's mum became somewhat ill. So Fran used to go up. Our daughter Jenny used to come down from Sunbury, pick Fran up, take her to somebody on the town, and then we'd go up to Milton Keynes to see her mum.
This was in the summer holidays.
That's right.
And my mum and my sister were both in hospital at the same time in Milton Keynes in July. And when it came to August, Mum was being discharged, but my sister wasn't. So I went up to stay with Mum in August, and it was awful because she was 98 and she had age-related dementia. But she'd had a fall at home, and although there was nothing broken, she was fine. Absolutely nothing broken at all, but they kept her in for observation. And during that time, she lost all the confidence and she wouldn't cooperate with the physio. And in the end, she came home and she was bedridden. She couldn't walk. and I hadn't planned for well, I had no idea. I just thought as soon as she gets home she'll be fine.
But you were out there for 4 weeks.
I was up longer than that. Longer than that, yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, get her back home and everything will be all right. But it wasn't, because she couldn't walk, she couldn't get out. She kept wanting to get out of bed, she couldn't. It was being like being thrown in at the deep end on a dementia training course, because the doctors wouldn't come out, and I had carers coming in. Anyway, the upshot is that she came home and she fell out of bed. She didn't fall out of bed, she slipped out of bed. And that was in the middle of the night. So she went back into hospital again for a checkup. But again, nothing broken, she was fine. Took the decision with the social worker to try and get a replacement in a home, because it wasn't going to get better. We were only going to have the same problems again, and the carer's time had expired. So Mum went into the care home and she died in October. And 5 weeks later, my sister died as well. So this was my low point between August and November. It was
2020.
2020, and it was going up. Jenny was really good, and this was such a lovely part of it, because Jenny would come down here, pick me up, take me home to stay overnight, and then go on up to Milton Keynes the next day. And we had such lovely times in the car, because she had her playlist, a classical playlist on, and we just used to chat and listen to the music, and she used to drive. It was just, there is always a silver lining to every thundercloud, and I shall never forget that. It was lovely. But then after that, things were getting a little better. The restrictions were becoming.
In the meantime, we did actually make face masks.
Oh yes, I made face masks. We also missed church very much, because they were closed. It was I can't remember when they opened again. It was.
Well, it was before Christmas. In 2020,
when it was down to level 3, churches were opened, and we had they had every other pew roped off, so there was no singing. So it was a little bit.
Although being in a choir that Christmas, we did get together with the choir to do the Christmas concert, and we all sat in chairs right up by the altar,
just in front of the altar.
We were spaced out, masks on, and spaced out.
There were some funny periods during COVID. We had lots of those little video clips that the girls sent round, and there was one of someone on a xylophone, and the phone rang, his mobile phone rang, and then the camera shot over to the other side, and you saw this cat playing xylophone. It's doing the ringtone. It was so funny. I can't remember many more, but there were light moments, that just lifted you. And with having WhatsApp, we were able to pass these little clips on to friends. In lots of ways, it was a very nice period to be.
And I think one of the things that I've learnt over the period is classical music. I'm not a brilliant fan, because I'm all country and folk, that sort of thing. But there's certain things, a lot of classical music I never knew, never understood. So I've actually become a bit of a convert, I think, on that side, listening to Classic FM and.
We also did a lot of exercise. There was Joe Wicks on the YouTube channels, and we still do that now, and it's just brilliant. Although I've stopped doing Joe Wicks. There's another lady I follow now on YouTube, but that's something that stayed with us. Another change is that we saved a lot of money because we didn't go out shopping.
Although having said that, the water bills got up.
Yeah.
And the gas bill, because being here, it's noticeable.
We don't go for coffees every day. We don't go shopping. We don't go to Canterbury or Folkestone. We don't go on bus or train journeys. We have
been on the bus.
Once.
A week. Twice.
But yeah, it has changed it has changed us a lot in lots of ways. It's just one of those periods in your life where you can look back and you pick out the bad parts, but there are more good parts than bad parts.
I think you should remember actually one of them was the fuel shortage. The most amazing thing was where the cars were following the tankers. Well, I got a Giles book and there's a cartoon in there going back to 1953, and there was a fuel shortage then, and there's a cartoon of a car following a milk tanker.
They thought it was a petrol tanker.
They thought it was a petrol tank. And it's 1953. So really, when you look back,
there's nothing changed, nothing different, is there?
No, we still get the same problems.
How did your faith help you during the pandemic?
I don't think it's really changing it to that extent. I think it's made it more aware, I think, especially since we've had the new vector. Because he seems to highlight things that you never really thought about.
My faith hasn't changed at all. But what did strike me when I was going through this period at my mum's and the funerals, how nice everyone is. The funeral directors that I had for mum's funeral, they were so kind, and they were there all the time. The day of the funeral, he was... Because I was on my own with Jenny, and when I was trying to get something out to throw into the grave, he was there and he caught it and he helped me so many times, and he was always there, and whenever I needed him, and it was just such a lovely man. And the vicar, there was a lady vicar, she was from South Africa, she was kindness itself, and you're just aware of all this love coming out and just wrapping you up in it.
And I think you've had some emails, haven't you, from the rector up there?
Yeah, she's been
and when
in touch.
Fran phones up for flowers for the grave, she phones the florist up there, and they know instantly what Fran wants.
Yeah, the florist now they will always go and put flowers on the graves in the graveyard, because I can't get up there quite often. Yes, the kindness, and it is a calling. I think the funeral directors, I think it's as much a calling as a priest. They were born to it. They were just so lovely. The right people at the right time in the right place, and just makes things so much easier when you're trying to get through that, to know that they're there to catch you if you fall. Yes, it was unforgettable. I know Mum was 98 and she'd had a good life, and you accept that. But my sister, she was only 77 and she had so much left to give, and I found that harder. But my faith has never faltered, and it never will.
And over the period, I think beginning of last year, I got a brother and sister who live in Folkestone, and I think we actually went out for a coffee at the Clifton. That was a big event, wasn't it? Well, initially we did sit outside, we didn't go inside.
What was it like when you first met your grandchildren after all these lockdowns?
The fact they're a bit taller, it didn't seem. It was like I only seen them yesterday. It didn't seem that long.
I think so many people have had to think on their feet with this, and you learn not to plan ahead.
But we had two Christmases where we were just Fran and myself, and it was just like a normal Sunday. We didn't have turkey, we had chicken. But fortunately, this time, our daughter from Manchester came down Boxing Day. They
have their own problems. We might think we've got some, but they've got more because they're family. And in the last few months, one of them would catch it, or one of them had to isolate because the friend at school had it. So when that was finished, another one would get it. So it was like a knock-on effect for all four in the family. I had a bad year, but so many other people have had worse. So it just puts it in perspective. I think on the whole, it's been an experience, and we've been all right. You know, we've survived it, and there are people that have been worse than ourselves. So we have to be grateful for what we've got and how we've coped, because it could have been a lot worse. We did a lot of hobbies as well during the lockdown, didn't we? You did all your model aeroplanes, which are now all over the house. And I got my knitting out, did an oil painting.
But I have done a lot of reading on the Kindle. I'm reading a book about every 2 weeks. The thing is with the Kindle, you can read them in order. You don't have to go to the library or hopefully get the next one.
Now, this is where I totally disagree with you, because you can't beat a book. There is something about a book, the feel of a book. It's like a friend, because it is just...
Yes, but I've got something like about 300 to 400 books on my Kindle.
And you've paid for them all, my dear.
Yeah, but I've still got them.
We will never agree on this. Never.